Hey guys, today I'll be talking about how much money you need to start an Amazon FBA business in the most feasible way, right? In order to make sure you have a budget for success. I'll discuss the things that may sound super simple, but you should give careful attention to, so you don't go too deep, right? Without any safety measures to avoid losing your money. If you're new to this channel, I'm Anthony Bui-Tran from Seller.Tradecraft. I reached my first $1 million milestone at the age of 23 a couple years ago by selling profitable private label products on Amazon. Just last year, I partnered up with my buddies Fernando, Cruz, and Nick Young, who are 8-figure Amazon FBA entrepreneurs. And we started an FBA community to just find other like-minded people, and our Facebook group is called Seller.Tradecraft, and it's been recognized as one of the most largest and most active Facebook communities out there. And by the way, it was voted best Facebook private label group. So the link is in the description, so feel free to join that below. Alright, back to the video. If you are planning to start an FBA business soon, stay with me to the end of this video and I'll show you exactly what the cost is you need to factor into starting your Amazon private label business on FBA. And unlike the other videos, I'm gonna give you a range, right? Because I believe everyone's situation is going to be a lot different. So step by step, I'll be laying down all the things you're gonna need, from inventory all the way to barcodes and photography. So let's get started. So overview wise, here are some of the costs that we're gonna cover. 1, inventory cost. 2, product research tools such as Jungle Scout, Market Intelligence. This is software we're going to be used to be like finding our products. 3, Amazon seller account fees. 4, design works. 5, barcodes. 6, photo fees. And 7, inspection fees, right? It's optional, but I highly recommend it, right? Inventory costs. Disclaimer, this is going to be one of the most variable parts of your budget, but the first thing we're going to be going over is how to determine the inventory costs, right? Which consists of your products per unit price, right? And the shipping price per unit. These two numbers combined in the industry is basically called cost of goods sold, or COGS for short. So COGS, right? Depending on how your supplier gives you the breakdown of your bill is how you calculate your COGS. To give you an example, make it easier. If your supplier gives you the total cost landed directly to Amazon, let's say it's $5,000 in this example, then you divide the cost by the number of units. And let's say you're getting about 2,000 units for $5,000 landed to Amazon, okay? So 2,000 units for $5,000 landed to Amazon. So to calculate the COGS, what you're gonna do is you're gonna divide the total number, the total cost, divided by the number of units. So that's gonna be $5,000 divided by 2,000 units. That's gonna give you a cost of goods sold of 2.5 per unit, right? So that's how you calculate your COGS. So that means every unit is going to cost you $250 to bring to the US and land it directly to Amazon. And keep in mind, in the future, you can reduce this number by ordering more, negotiating more with your factory. So to repeat, the formula for COGS is the total cost divided by the total units. Note, that's the total cost you're adding with like sea shipping and not adding things in like photography and inspection fees, because those are only one-time costs that are associated with your product. This next part, right, in addition to like inventory costs, the inventory cost is going to change. It's going to be very variable for all our sellers because everyone's going to order a different amount usually, right? So there's kind of like usually 2 constraints in general when people start off on Amazon. That's time and money. So in this scenario, we're talking more about money. When it comes to ordering like your first batch of inventory, I highly recommend you set a budget you can afford to risk, okay? So while Amazon FBA has been successful for many people, some of us have lost a ton of money. I've lost a ton of money, not a ton of money, but I've lost money because I made mistakes, right? Because I didn't learn it from others, or I didn't have like the right mentors, right? And if you just go through the hardships of that. So when I started, right, what I budgeted for my first private label product was $5,000. When I launched my first private label product, I was also in my first year of corporate America and at the age of 22 or 23, I think, just to give you guys some more like background perspective of where I was when I first started my Amazon FBA journey. So for the low risk option, right, I always recommend that you go for the minimum order quantity requirement that your supplier is willing to give you. And you can even ask to go below their standard MOQ. Sometimes they say like 200 or 300, but in the next batch or in the next number of days, you can ask to like reduce it. And like this strategy, right, ordering like the minimum order of quantities is something I still do when I'm testing out certain products, like certain products that I'm like less confident in, right? On the flip side, when I'm more confident with my product, I would choose to get 1.5 times the monthly sales volume, and we'll figure out. You can figure out how to get that with Jungle Scout or Market Intelligence. The product. So if the product sold 100 units a month, I would order 150 units, and that's what I did for myself on my first order. That's what I budgeted for. That's what I did, and it's worked out for many people that I've advised, and for all my students to do so too. So the COGS, right, for my first product was around $3,000 total, and I got 1,500 units. So that means the COGS per item was about $2. So keep in mind that everyone's situation is going to be different, but for this I would budget around $1,000 to $3,000 for the total cost of goods, right? So this is going to be for inventory costs. So budget about at least $1,000 to $3,000 to get started, and that's going to be the cost from your factory, from manufacturing the item and shipping. The second thing that you need is the product research tool that will make your life way easier. So there's Jungle Scout on the market, Market Intelligence, and X-Ray, right, by Helium 10. There's a couple others on the market, but I personally use Market Intelligence because it's super easy to look for the data you need. It's accurate, has sales estimates, has historical prices to check sales trends, and this is one of the softwares I recommend to all my students, okay? It's the one me and my team use to find products, but you know, like, use whichever one you want to use, okay? Like, as long as you're taking action and you're looking at products, I really don't care like which one you decide to use. So for Jungle Scout and Market Intelligence, there are two different things that both the companies sell. They also have like a web app and a Chrome extension. The only thing you need starting out, right, if you're staying lean, is the Chrome extension, right? So Viral Launch, they have like different plans which start at $99, $199 that include the product discovery and the keyword research tool. But there's a plan for $10 where you can just get the Chrome extension and you can just get away with just that, right? If you want to stay lean and just stay focused on one stage at a time and keep your costs low until you may need other tools, I highly recommend just staying with the $9.99 package for just Viral Launch's Market Intelligence tool. So no matter which plan you pick though, right, the product research tools, we do have an exclusive discount that we did negotiate just for the SELLER.TRADECRAFT community. You can see all of this within the discount codes that we're gonna have in the description below. So make sure when you sign up for any of these free trials, right? I highly recommend doing all the free trials for like Jungle Scout, Market Intelligence, or anything like that, right? And sign up, right? And when you sign up using the discount code, you will, so like I said, I was saying, so for all those tools, there's a discount code that you can use to avoid paying the full price. And keep in mind, if you're budgeting, you do not have to be paying monthly for it, right? If you found your product in 30 days or less, you can cancel your membership, right? Especially with Market Intelligence, so you don't get hit by the reoccurring subscription fee. You can always sign up and decide to be if you're looking for your second or third product or so on, right? So that's one way to keep like the costs a little bit lower for Viral Launch or for your product research tool by going on and off the subscription base. For me, I always have it on because I'm always looking for the product. I believe these tools like basically pay for itself. The value is like so worth it there. And you know, so when it comes to like using the research tool like Viral Launch, I would budget for this category at least $10, right? So $9.99 a month, so at least $10. So for the next section, we're gonna talk about Amazon seller plans and fees. The next startup cost you need to factor in is the Amazon seller fees. So after you decided on the product that you're gonna sell and you're ready to set up your Amazon account and start listing your product, in opening an Amazon seller account, there are two different seller plans you can choose from. There is an individual account, which is free, and then there is a professional selling plan, which has a subscription fee of $39.99 per month. This is in the US, from what I understand. When you're starting an Amazon account, you can open up an account for free, right? And if you open it up as an individual seller account, you'll pay an extra fee of 99 cents per item up to like 40 items or something, right? And then you have to switch to basically the monthly plan or the monthly subscription plan. So what I highly recommend is that once you start your Amazon account, start it off as an individual account so you don't pay the monthly fee of $39.99, and then switch over at the latest 2 weeks before your products land at Amazon's warehouse. Because in this situation, we'll say like in a situation it takes you like 3 months to do product research, and you wait for the product to arrive by sea, it can take 30 or 45 days, right? So if you wait 3 months, you might be paying an extra $120 in fees, right? So don't turn it over to the professional selling plan until you're like about to start selling, just to save yourself some money. It doesn't make sense to pay those fees until you actually start selling. By the way, quick tip, the day you make your first sell on Amazon, add it to a calendar. It's something I celebrate every year. My students and I always look back to see how much we have like learned and grown together. So in general, for the Amazon fees, I budget $40 a month. So the fourth thing to consider is getting a logo done, right? For branding and packaging design, well, all of those done, right? I recommend, you know, like starting off, there's a couple options, right, to go about like this within your budget, right? On the low end, like I recommend you searching for a designer on Fiverr. You know, I've used designers on Fiverr before, but look, they're not the best of the best, but they're not that bad either for like what you get, to be honest. Like if you on Fiverr, not everything is $5 anymore, but paying like some of those guys that are like really top rated for packaging design are $85, $100. It's not bad work, especially if your product's super simple and you don't need anything fancy. I would do that. Another option you can do too is check like FreeUp or Upwork and hire like freelancers, okay? So FreeUp is supposed to be basically a vetted like Upwork essentially, right? That's like the people you hire there know exactly what they're doing. So, and then lastly, another thing you can do is ask within the Seller.Tradecraft Facebook group for recommendations, right? So for the logo fee, packaging design, the work ranges from $35 to $350, and depending on how complicated your packaging is, how simple your stickers are, or how fancy or complex, you know, all that is, everything is gonna like cost a different price, right? So keep in mind that designers overseas versus like in the US, right, versus in Western countries are gonna be a lot cheaper. So, you know, setting your options in like Upwork to like Eastern Europe or Asia is going to be way cheaper, right? And you'll still get high quality work. You just have to look for these guys, right? But if you're looking to invest into your brand, you can also find a high quality designer based in the US who can really convey the branding and understand what you're trying to do and create a branding style guide, right? So a branding style guide basically covers like the color scheme, the font, the text, the formatting that they use, and like so on. It just gives you like all the little graphic things, right? So designers in the future who like design stuff for you, right, that are like in Asia or something, can use these as reference, right, when they're like designing like your Facebook page cover or Facebook groups or Instagram stuff, any social media stuff you want, packaging inserts. They can just follow this, right? Or when you launch like new products, like they can just follow this branding styling guide, and it'll be really, really easy for you to like move forward. Okay, so if you're on a more limited budget, you can just kind of start off with a logo and worry about packaging later. That's what I did with my first project. So in general, I would budget for design work anywhere from $35 to at least $350, right? Barcodes. The fifth one we're going to go over is barcodes. There's going to be two types. One is like the UPC label, which stands for Universal Product Code, which, you know, like 12-digit code, which helps you determine like you know, what you scan stuff on Amazon, right? And you need this in order to create a listing as of right now on Amazon. There's workaround to that, which I'll kind of mention a little bit later. But if you're going to do everything the right way, the proper way, and you want to set up your product for a long-term success, basically, when it comes to barcodes, you're going to need to apply for a GS1 barcode if you want to do things the right way. GS1 is basically the global grantor of barcodes. They own a monopoly on barcodes, and the thing is, like, all these barcodes they give you are brand new and untouched. This is why they charge a premium for these freaking barcodes, right? So on the low end, they'll cost $250 per barcode, and they can be charged a yearly fee. But by getting a barcode from GS1, you're gonna be safe from any Amazon future updates, and you're gonna also be good for retail if you're thinking long term and you want to get your product into retail. Another scenario though, right, is there's this thing called the GTIN exemption, and basically if you want to learn more about that, you can avoid the $200 50 fee. There's some more limitations with going the GTIN route, but I'll save that for another video. But in general, for barcodes, you need the $250 GS1 barcode to get started on Amazon the right way and get it ready for retail. And then just quick tip, in most cases the UPC is not what you apply to your package, right, the barcode. There's a barcode called an FNSQ, and that is what you give to your manufacturer. And if you have questions on like what barcode to use, basically watch my barcode video on Seller.Tradecraft channel and you will see all of it there. But other than that, let's move on to the cost of product photos for their Amazon listing, right? So there's gonna be two ways to get your products done. Either you can hire other people, or in my opinion, you can ask suppliers for the pictures they already took. And then third is you can take pictures on your own. Generally though, supplier pictures aren't really good enough for Amazon, and since your primary photo, your main image, is an important factor to improve conversions, I highly recommend getting a photographer, right? So you don't have to do it but yourself route. So for example, if your product is a portable cookware set, you can send one to local photographers in the US to send, or in China, right? But if you're gonna send it to the US or a Western country, what I recommend is looking and searching for student photographers, right? That's where Nick and Fernando get some of their photography done, and that's something I've been trying to look for in Houston. It just makes it way easier, way cheaper, and they'll take all the photos you need, right? So yeah, I would set up a thing on Craigslist, set up a thing on a job board for any colleges, and that's how you can find a good local product photographer, right? Because the thing with like having a local product photographer is you can kind of tell them like, hey, I want an angle like this, I want an angle like this. You can actually be at the photo shoot sometimes too. I highly recommend if you do local products, right? If you do local product photography, what you do is in the long run, you want to bring like multiple products at one time so you can like just knock them out all in one batch, right? And then what you want to do after you get the product photography, if the product photographer doesn't do retouching, you can hire someone on Fiverr, right? So online product photographers will charge anywhere from $35 to $55 a photo, which is well worth it. But consider searching in China to find photographers that can shoot it faster and a way more affordable rate for photographers, right? So think about it this way: people buy from images alone, right? So there's times when I've just gone on Amazon, I've looked at the main image, it looks good, and then I look at the title, and then I look at how many reviews, like the count, and then what the review rating, if it's like 4.5, or if it's 5 stars and like 1,000 reviews, I just click add a cart. I don't really care about reading the bullets or descriptions, and as long as the images like look good to me, sometimes I'll just like go ahead and buy it. Other Amazon customers feel the same way too, right? So at the very end of the day, good images are incredibly important for differentiating between the competition. It's what's going to catch the eyes of the customer, and it's going to increase their click-through rate. But keep in mind, for the retouching, it can go down as low as $1 a photo for the white background, or $5 or $10 per images for Photoshop. So for photos, I recommend at least budgeting $50, right, to $500 roughly when you're first starting out for your photography. There's some people that pay way more for photography, but I just found the costs to be diminishing in my opinion. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. Like, all the scenarios are very variable, but I'm trying to give you guys my perspective on what I did with my first product and how I've been kind of budgeting for things, right? Next, inspection companies. Okay, I mean, this is optional, but I highly recommend it, right? So hiring an inspection company is something you should really consider, because what they do is they literally drive to your supplier's warehouse in China, right? And they will actually inspect all of your products in person, take pictures, weigh it, give you the measurements, and give you like this detailed report before the item even gets shipped out. Okay, so inspectors will do a full report on any like potential damages on the product, the quality of the product, making sure the packaging is done right, and anything you really ask them to check for, like in person, right? Like literally the whole 9 yards, because they want to make sure your product is good to go, right? And whatever questions you have, like they usually do it, like as long as it's not too crazy over the top. But inspection companies are there as a third party to help you, right? They're not biased. I mean, it could be possible for a inspection company to get paid off by a factory, but that would mean that inspection company would lose all its credibility, right? And in doing so, like that would ruin their reputation being an inspection company. So inspection companies are guys that are on your side. Okay, so this is important if you feel like you're a little skeptical on how the supplier is, right? It may cost you several $100, like maybe $100 to $300 for an inspection company to come in, right? But in the long run of things, It is a minimal cost to help you have a professional with a keen eye to detail, right? To just look at these items and really understand, you know, are these items in the right shape? Are they going to make it to America the way they're packed? You know, are they going to make it to Amazon's warehouse? Are the right barcodes on it, right? Are these poly bags, right? Does it say made in China on the products? Do the poly bags have suffocation labels on it, right? Like things like that, the inspection company helps double check, right? First, you want to go ahead and take care of all of this yourself, but at the end of the day, the inspection company is there on your side to help you like check like on these little things. And like I said, with inspection companies, it's way cheaper to figure out and find a mistake when it's at your factory, right? Versus when it's on a container shipping to Amazon, or even worse, when it gets to Amazon and people are giving you 1-star reviews because of quality issues, packaging issues, mislabeling issues, a different product arriving, you know, like that stuff like happens. I know, it never personally happened to me or anyone that I've known, because everyone I know, like I tell them get inspections. Like that's what I tell all my students. I basically require it. I'm like, I strongly, highly strongly encourage it no matter what, because after the first time you get an inspection, you kind of understand like, whoa, this is like a detailed report, and it just feels like legitimate. And it's especially when you're working with a new supplier, you just want to show that like, hey, I'm gonna double check your ass so you don't fuck me over, right? And that's exactly what a third-party inspection does. And another tip that I do sometimes, like long run for you guys in the future, is I'll say like, okay, like I'm gonna get an inspection in like 2 weeks, or like, hey, like when is a product gonna be done? I need a plan for having a product inspection company to come. And in that head, so sometimes like I don't get an inspection done on every single shipment, especially if I trust the supplier, but I'll tell them things like that, and I'll just be like, oh yeah, never mind, I won't get an inspection done. And then you're good to go. But just in case, like, they'll get everything done, make sure it's good, make sure like nothing is like messed up, you know, when the inspection company comes, and all your goods are going to be good when they're coming to Amazon. Yeah, so to summarize that, budget at least $100 to $300 per day for an inspection company. So total cost, so let's recap everything that I just talked about, right? You know, photos, inspections, product tool, all of this, right? So the first one's going to be cost of goods sold, it's the shipping plus the shipping, right? Second is product research tool, such as market intelligence. The third is going to be your Amazon seller account subscription fees. The fourth is the logo, and the fifth is barcode, and the sixth is the product photo. And the seventh is going to be the inspection video. If we break this all down, right? So cost of goods, right? We're going to say like you're going to budget anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. The product research is going to be about $9.99 a month. The Amazon professional selling plan, that's going to be $39, $99 a month. And then for the design work, okay, this is going to be basically, you want to budget around $500 for it. Just $500 is what I put. And then for photos, you're going to budget around $50 to $500. You know, that includes like the graphic renderings, the retouching, and the photographer fees. The inspection fees, right, is going to be $300. It's going to be $300. So in total, that's going to be about $2,100 to about 45. I think that's what I did on my math. So basically, at the end of the day, to summarize it, you're gonna want to budget around $2,000 to $5,000 for your first product. For me, I budgeted $5,000, but at the very low end, like I think, in my opinion, you really need at least $2,000 to start your Amazon private label journey. You know, there's some people out there that say you can start an Amazon private label business with $100, $200. You can do it and start a business with $500, right? But private label business, but don't expect to make a lot of money, right? If you put $100 in and you have an ROI product of 300%, you're gonna get $300 back, right? And if you're doing 30-day shipping times, like expect to make $300 every other month, okay? Like it does take money to make more money in this business, but the thing is, like, once you get that first product rolling, right? Once you get that first product to be successful and you have success like I did, you get confidence, right? And the ball gets rolling, and you start investing more money, and you start investing in new products, and you start like keeping it going, and then it just all works. And that's just like how like I got started with my Amazon journey, right? So like I said, I budgeted with $5,000, and like I had massive success with my first product, which led me to my second product, my third product, my fourth product, my fifth product. Now I'm at like over 45 different products, right? And things have been good for me. I've been happy with all that. So if you guys want to learn more about launching profitable products on Amazon, really understanding how to do product research, I highly recommend you guys join our upcoming Amazon private label workshop. I'll have it in the link below. Just go ahead, visit the registration link. It's posted in the description below. Right, and curious, for those of you guys that are new to the Amazon game or that started, with your first product, like what did you budget for your first product? Let me know in the comments below, right? Let me know if $2,000 to $5,000 seems reasonable, right? Did you go higher? Did you go lower? Or were you within that range? And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can make sure you see all of our future updates and all of our future videos. So thanks you guys for watching this video, and see you guys next time. Later.